Hi fellas, men back again. So this is like the update video. I have just taken out the old oil filter and the oil. I've drained the oil. Going in with this fella now. Trying out the 7100 fully synthetic from Motul. This is not the 300V factory line. This is kind of the intermediate in between the semi-synthetic and the fully synthetic. This is not the double ester technology. Oh, even this is ester technology, but I don't know why this is slightly, in fact, way cheaper than the 300V factory line. So, don't know how this is going to be different. There was a time when I used to sell this, but I have never really used this particular grade in any of my machines. I've used the 300V, I've used the 5100 a lot, the semi-synthetic and the fully synthetic, but I've not used this fella. This is going to go into the engine is because I haven't been able to procure the Amsoil dirt bike oil. I haven't been able to get it anywhere in the country. I have already poured in the 10W50, and so I am sticking to the 10W50. I'm not changing the grade of the oil. Yeah, so it was a little difficult trying to hold the camera in one hand and trying to do this with the other, but you get the idea. That's how it is. You kind of saturate it, get rid of all the dry paper element, pour in enough oil so that everything becomes nice and saturated, and then you can shove this in. Yeah, let me just get that done nice and neat and clean, and then I'll shove it in. So what we have over here is the oil filter that's gone in nice and tight, and then followed by the paper gasket, and finally the cap. This has a rubber o-ring, and I have doubled it with the paper gasket, so there's absolutely no chance of a leak. You can just use one of these. You don't really have to use both of them, but I over the years have understood that as a combo they work better in keeping things nice and tight over there. Okay fellas, time for the new engine oil. This bike takes about 1650 to 1800 depending on how much I have been able to drain. So anywhere between 1650 mils to 1800 mils. That's what's going into this motor. I will first pour in about a liter and a quarter, and then put the cap back on, let the bike idle for about a minute, and then pour in the rest. Yeah, so let me do that and then get back to you. I am seeing a lot of the bare metal of the piston head now. There is considerable carbon deposits, yes, but I am not seeing a wet, gooey layer of carbon deposits. What I'm seeing is a dried up layer, and of course I can see enough of the metal of the piston. So there's this aberrations where there is the crown of the piston with its metallic color, the silver color, and then there's a thin layer of dried carbon settled on top. That is what I get to see. I went up and down multiple times to see how the edges fared. The edges had a considerable amount of buildup, and the edges seem to have cleared up quite a lot. Surprisingly, the edges are better than the center of the piston. But this is development. This is serious development. There was a wet layer, now it's a dried up layer. I went out on a ride yesterday night, and to my surprise, it was, I would say, there was a 50% improvement. easy 50% improvement in the bike's in detonation. That is, I started getting detonation very early on in the ride. The moment the bike started heating up, I used to get detonation. And yesterday's ride was about 1 hour long, open highways, full throttle, and detonation creeped in at about 45 minutes to 50 minutes of riding. Almost on the fag end of the ride is when I got to hear a little bit of a detonation. It wasn't as loud or prominent as how it was earlier, but yeah, there's considerable improvement in detonation. And I now know for a fact that this is detonation and this is not the valve train noise. But that being said, it hasn't been arrested fully. I was running the stock fueling. So the Powertronic comes with the stock coupler. So I was running the stock coupler yesterday, and just to see if the stock fueling would work with the high flow air filter and the free flow exhaust. Yeah, I want to suggest one thing to all the fellas who watch this video. The stock fueling is definitely not going to aid that, and the air filter in here. It's definitely not going to be a very healthy setup, but I was, I wanted to do it yesterday for a reason. I wanted the mixture to be as lean as possible, to see if that's going to make a difference. Also, the stock coupler, the Powertronic coupler, would make the ignition timing like the factory. So there was no advanced ignition timing, and I wanted to see how that would also play a role. Today again, I plan on putting back my Powertronic ECU. I will definitely tweak the maps a bit. I will retard the ignition timing. Not retard, I'll keep it 2 degrees at once. It's at 5 and 7 degrees at once. I'll reduce it, I'll keep it at 1 or 2 degrees at once and see if that makes a difference. And then I'll also have one map which is going to be the factory or the map that I'm running currently. That is also a map that is highly modified to suit my motorcycle. So I will use that map and see when detonation creeps in. Well, that being said, this is going to be a long process to figure out when and how the motorcycle starts behaving in a creepy way. So detonation is not as easy as it looks or sounds. We'll figure it out with time. But as far as the cleaning system goes, it has cleaned at least 20%, 20 to 25% of the carbon deposits on the piston crown, and it has done a fantastic job of getting rid of all the wet carbon deposits. It's the gooey layer is completely gone. It's only the dry layer now, and even the dry layer, I get to see the piston crown on top. That's fantastic. That's huge developments. So if I were to continue this treatment, I know for a fact that it's going to get rid of even that dried up layer. But yeah, so there are other methods to getting rid of the carbon deposits. We'll try that as well and make a video out of it. But for now, this is what it is. I will keep you guys posted on the developments about detonation and related stuff, and about engine noise. Until then, this is Ben signing out for now. Ciao.